Henry Cavill says he's not done playing Superman yet. Apparently, the cape's very much still in his closet. That's the headline on today's MBE movie news.
That is correct, John. Henry Cavill has come out and said the cape is in my closet. Yes. It's still mine. It's still mine. I'm not giving it to anyone. What's your thoughts on this, John? Because obviously this article is self-explanatory. We thought it was done, obviously, with the character. Not that he's ever come out and confirmed and it's been official. He's not been as open as obviously Ben Affleck was with his Batman character. What's your thoughts though, John? Because is this a little glimmer of hope we're seeing here that Henry Cavill might don the cape once more?
Oh, I sincerely hope so, Stephen. We were just speaking about it yesterday. Obviously, we were talking about the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
And I did mention Henry Cavill and just how sadly it's not went quite so well for him. But look, this could be a glimmer of hope. I sincerely hope it is true. Sincerely, it's what must be true because he's actually speaking about it in this playlist article. He says that I've not given up the role. There's a lot I have to give for Superman yet. A lot of storytelling to do, a lot of real true depths to the honesty of the character I want to get into. I want to reflect the comic books. That's important to me. There's a lot of justice to be done for Superman. The status is, you'll see. So Stephen, that is very exciting indeed. Because as we did say, Man of Steel, both firm favourites of ours, certainly one of the better DCEU movies. I thought it was a fantastic Superman movie. I thought he was a fantastic Kal-El and Superman.
And Clark Kent.
And Clark Kent. He was just made for the role in terms of physicality, in terms of what he brought as an actor. We've already seen in various different movies that he can bring it when he is challenged. It certainly has not been getting challenged by DC or Warner Brothers in the last 4 or 5 years. They have completely underutilised the Superman character. That is why he became disenfranchised, and that is why he subsequently jumped the ship to Netflix to do this Witcher series, which incidentally looks very, very cool. Now, obviously it all stemmed from Shazam, Stephen. He was asked to come in and do a cameo, a 2-second cameo at the end of that movie, and he said, no, I'm not doing it.
So it wasn't him then?
It wasn't him, no. That was some stand-in chest double. But he walked away, but sadly, or no, not sadly, I'm talking absolute crap. Thankfully, that's the word, he's not done with the role yet. I'm very excited. I hope we get to see him in a...
John, you kind of touched on it there. I think
Again.
you could be right in regards to him, obviously Cavill speaking out about the treatment of the character over the last few years. I think with the success of Shazam and the success more so on the Joker movie, obviously the studios had a rethink and it's worked. It wouldn't surprise me if there's been further talks with the studio and Henry Cavill saying this is where we want to take this now. We're not going to take the character down this expanded universe anymore.
No, I hope not.
Because it worked with Man of Steel as a standalone film, although it was always maintained that that film was the setup for the DCEU. I still debate that one. It was a great standalone film as well. It wasn't attached to Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Batman or anyone like that. There was obviously little sort of hints in there for, the keen eye in there, that would probably notice maybe Wayne Enterprises stuff or something like that. I'm not sure if there was any in Man of Steel, but I'm pretty sure there was little Easter eggs in there. But that's away from that, it was very much a standalone film. So it wouldn't surprise me, John, if there's been further talks, that they've got a clear vision now for the character that might appeal to the actor.
Absolutely, Stephen. And look, I'd love to see the likes of Amy Adams coming back. Perhaps even Russell Crowe in a flashback or something of him speaking from another real source to his son. You had such a great cast in that Man of Steel movie. And what intrigues me most of all and excites me most of all though, Stephen, is what he says in that quote. That he has got so much to give that he wants to get into the honesty of the character. He wants it to reflect the comic books, because I feel like that's something that was missing in Dawn of Justice and it was missing in Justice League. Obviously he was dead for half of Justice League, and we were speaking about it before we actually came on, Stephen. One of my favourite things in Justice League was the reanimation sequence with Superman when he comes out of, well, not hibernation, he was dead, but when he comes back.
He also says, John, that Dawn of Justice was more a Batman film.
It was,
I totally agree with him. It was. The tone of it, just the darkness of it wasn't a Superman film.
And it was skewed from the perspective of, obviously, Bruce Wayne and his hatred for this alien figure. I think the quote was, if there's 1% chance that this guy could have malevolence within him, heavily paraphrasing, then we can't trust him. So it was skewed from that human aspect, this mistrust of the character. That wasn't getting at the honesty of, obviously, Clark Kent, Kal-El, whatever you want to call him. He's a very honest guy who's tethered to Earth because of the human side of him. Obviously, his step-parents or whatever, he's human
Martha.
Martha. That kept him, obviously, tethered to his human side, if you'd like. I know he's not human, but he had a love for Earth and humans, so he never had an ounce of malevolence within him. That's something I want to see explored in hopefully future Henry Cavill Superman movies. I was about to say Star Wars, I don't know why. And that's what I'm taking from this, obviously, first and foremost, apart from the exciting news that he could be coming back, this hope that we could be going back to the canon material in the comics and getting some great Superman movies, hopefully with a better array of villains. I mean, I don't know who they could bring in, but not Jesse. Was it Jesse Eisenberg, wasn't it?
Yeah,
as Lex
well,
Luthor?
not in Man of Steel, John, but obviously in
Justice League.
I think so. I think there's room for other villains to come in, John. I'd be very interested to see why he's obviously, I don't want to say he's changed his mind. He's never actually come out and said he
I think he was always adamant, Steve.
But I think it'd be very interesting to see what's changed. Why is he coming out and saying this? He's obviously been asked a question in some sort of interview or something like that. But I think it'd be very interesting to see what has turned his head and what direction the studio looked to go with the character. It's funny because we should have seen these signs long ago, because when Ben Affleck more or less confirmed it was done with the character, the speculation for that role, and all the actors that were obviously put towards the role was at fever pitch at one point, and it went on for a good few months. No such thing with Superman, the character. I don't think anyone's actually come out and said this actor would be a great replacement for Henry Cavill. This actor would be a great replacement. There's never been anything like that. There's not been any speculation whatsoever. So I still maintain their hope. Now, if we're going percentages, John, that Henry Cavill will don the cape again, what kind of what's your ballpark figure for a percentage on him appearing as?
After this, 90%. I think he'll be back 100%. Stephen, what he says is true as well about the lack of speculation around recasting the role. I think I recall back when the nonsense was coming out, all of the controversy over him leaving. I think he said something about the closet still in, or the cloak still in my, or the cape still in my closet. Even back then, so he was always adamant that he wasn't done. There was unfinished business. He just wasn't happy with the handling of the character and the direction that DC and Warner Brothers were taking this DCEU. I think now that we have seen the breakout of, as you mentioned, Joker, Wonder Woman perhaps continuing on in a standalone vein, Aquaman, Shazam, them changing their direction and what they're doing with this, not DCEU, but just the projects within this DC comic setting, if you like. I don't know another way to say it.
Yeah.
The fact they're going more standalone, they're going back to their roots, they're not trying to copycat everything Marvel's doing. I think that's why he's now interested in coming back. I think they've probably tapped him up and says, look, we'll get a new vision, we'll perhaps get a new head. I know there was an issue with even the new head that came on at Warner Brothers. He had some controversy, he left, I think. The fact they've got a new person helming it with a new creative vision, maybe they've got a new trilogy or whatever of Superman movies lined up, and they've says, look, this isn't connected to any other characters, any other universe, it's just focusing on Kal-El, Superman, and this array of great characters and actors around him, focusing on the comic stories, centering on him, and then they've probably asked him, would you be interested in coming back? And he said, hopefully, yes. And well, he must have if he wouldn't be doing this article saying otherwise, unless he's been a facetious little bitch, in which case, God damn you, Henry Cavill, you better not be getting my hopes up here.
Yeah, don't mess with us. But listen,
he'd crush me.
Don't mess with our minds. I mean, you don't mess with Superman.
No.
But we'll move on, John, to our section, the blog rundown now of the Thursday show. And the first review is coming in from Philip Henry. This is a film from 2019 called Welcome to Marwen.
Yes.
And this was directed by Bob Zemeckis, and stars Steve Carell, Merwin Wevin, and Leslie Mann.
Stephen, I recall hearing about this movie many moons ago. It may have been last year, in actual fact. And I was very intrigued by the movie. I actually wasn't aware that it came out, and subsequently left.
I think here in the UK it was delayed, John.
Oh, was it delayed?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. But I didn't even realise it had actually released in the theatres, and then it's now left, and it was a flop. And Phil actually touches upon that in his review. He says that, well, he goes into a whole array of reasons perhaps why this movie didn't seem to take off in the box office, why a range of demographics didn't go in and watch it and give the hard-earned cash. He thinks that it's perhaps been skewed and promoted as maybe a kid-friendly movie, but in actual fact it isn't. That's put off parents taking their children to go and see it when they find out it isn't, and then people, adults who have thought it was a kid movie, have not been inclined to go and watch it, and that's just alienated too much people, and then it's not subsequently been a success, which is a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame for me that it flew under the radar, because I was really excited to see it. I recall talking about it, I think, in an audio show, or maybe not, maybe I was just speaking about it in general.
I don't think we ever did a trailer reaction for this.
No, we didn't. No, that was before those days, Stephen.
Yeah.
But Steve Carell, he's a wonderful actor when he puts his mind to it. He can do some inane shite at times, admittedly, but he is a really talented guy. We've seen it with Beautiful Boy, I think it was, with Timothée Chalamet. The guy is a very talented chap, and this looks like the perfect setting for him. From what Phil's saying, it really goes into his post-traumatic stress, and the guy, he's a shut-in. He's got issues mentally, develops his time. I think he was he was an artist at some point, or maybe a filmmaker or something.
Yeah, he was an artist, John,
Yeah, and he can't bring himself to do it. He then puts his whole mind and attention into creating these little characters and getting off for a bit of escapism into this little town and world he's crafting. It's getting into a whole array of allegorical themes where it's obviously mentally this guy's got issues, and then he's perhaps playing it out on the actual world that he's creating. So it's very exciting, Stephen, to read about the movie, even though I hadn't seen it, and to see that Phil is actually enjoying it and that he recommends it tremendously, because it's one that I will definitely be watching when it comes to Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's a funny one, John, because Steve Carell, who is probably more known for his comedic roles, the films that stick out in my head is more emotionally based films, like you said, John, Beautiful Boy, Life with Dan, I think it was called. That was out about maybe over a decade ago. The one I did a review for as well, Last Flag Flying.
It's 3 people, wasn't it?
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne was in there as well. I can't remember who the other chap was, but it was. He's just one of these guys that when he does put his hand to some drama, he can pull it off. I think he's a fine actor, away from the comedy, very much in the sort of similar vein to Jim Carrey, when he really puts his mind to it. But this film is obviously based on, I think it's based on a true story as well, John, which kind of adds to the sort of emotional baggage of it as well, in the circumstances that he's obviously had to inflict to obviously create this world of Marwen, or this town, I should say. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was a box office flop, unfortunately. A lot of the marketing, I think, obviously, or the lack of it, was obviously
it's
downfall.
Here.
It was, and I'm pretty sure, and you can actually see the film came out in 2019, which is obviously a UK release. But if you actually look at the post that says Christmas 2019 has not happened yet. No. So obviously it came out in the US at Christmas time. And over here later on, so it's very much been a bit of a Columbo there, and working that one out myself, pat myself on the back. But listen, I think John, it's a film. I did see the trailer when Philip dropped the review in, and the visuals really stood out to me. They were absolutely amazing. I know that Philip obviously touches on they went, why not just use live action, or live actors for obviously the sequences in the town. But what they did was, I think it was
stop motion.
I think it was, John. I think that's a motion capturing, animating. So
yeah, because it felt like it was actors within the actual figurines.
Yeah, they've obviously kind of blend there, John. But I thought it looked good. As much as obviously that would have been very painstaking to do. I think it adds to the world as well. I think it gives it that sort of unique look as well, and it kind of shows you when we're inside, obviously, the character's mind and his fantasy, away from the real world. So I like that contrast.
It's blending reality with also this town that he's created in his, it's his back garden, I think it is. So that's like, again, it hints at the allegorical themes going on here. It's within Steve Carell's character's mind, but then he's also got this other very real world where he's creating stop motion movies, and they're blending and it's becoming one. So that's very cool. I like that story concept. The fact that it is Bob Zemeckis' team that's involved as well. Love that guy's movies. It's a real shame to see that it hasn't performed so well. I don't know what's wrong with people these days. They're not going to see Doctor Sleep. They've not went to see this. What the hell's wrong with society?
Yeah.
But they will go and watch the Emoji Movie and utter piles of shit. It's
I want to see that.
Yeah, but you've got it too, Stephen. It boggles the mind, it really does. What a mind bender, as John Lennon once said.
Yeah.
And Stephen, you're absolutely right what you said as well. Obviously, Phil goes into it in his review about stop motion. Also, I'm a big fan of stop motion, says it time and again. Love Leica Studios, obviously Kubo and the two strings, missing link. I love Wallace and Gromit, Creature Comforts. And he does say in this review that it is very neat, the stop motion technique. He wasn't quite sure why they were getting into all the effort of painstakingly moving these little figurines. But the blend of that and what you say, Stephen, with mocap as well, it seems to work well from what I've seen in the trailer, and that will lend a nice creative flair to this movie as well. All in all, I've not seen it. Very intrigued by it. The fact it's going into something really important as well.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
Focusing in on mental health is always an important thing in movies. It's got Steve Carell in there. I'm a big fan of the guy. And just the concept of World War II as well. It looks like a really heartwarming but important movie that had to be made in Zemeckis. What can you say, man?
Yeah, John, it's certainly a film I do want to catch because obviously I'm a big fan of the director as well. But we'll move on anyway. That was a great review coming in from Philip there. Certainly intrigued me enough to seek this film out. And we've got another one coming in from Philip. This is more of a blockbuster, or it should have been. Terminator Dark Fate 2019, John.
Certainly bust the box office. Yeah, it was busting at the box office.
Directed by Tim Miller, who will be eating his words now. Stars Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mackenzie Davis, and Natalie Reyes.
Yeah, Stephen, this is obviously the quasi sequel.
Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong, yeah. Who's not really in there. Damn you, James Cameron. You bitch. Only kidding, James, I love you. You're not watching this, but yeah, a bit of a bitch. Bit of a bitch for saying what you said. But yeah, Stephen, disagree with a lot of things Phil's saying about this movie. And I agree with some things as well. Yeah. Phil likes it a lot more than I did. I says my bit on this movie time and again over the last week or so. Really, I think it's a terrible Terminator movie. I think it's an okay action movie. But if you take that Terminator facade and marketing away from this movie, it would flop even more than it is. And the reason it's flopping is purely down to word of mouth. Even this opening sequence where they kill off, obviously John Connor, in the most needless fashion. The guy could have worked as an older mentor figure, but they decided to kill him off. He was superfluous to the story, so let's just shoot him dead.
I've got a problem with that, Joe, John. Not with what you're saying, but actually you're hitting the nail on the head. Well, they want to cut their ties. They're marketing this as a direct sequel to Terminator 2, cutting their ties with the main sort of
character in
plot.
Terminator 2.
I wouldn't say main character, but obviously the main plot is to protect John Connor.
Yeah.
He's the future, obviously, of the human, the leader of the human resistance.
Not anymore.
But then, that's fine if you're going to do that. Then take the story in another direction. But what they did was they just regurgitated Terminator 2, protecting someone else who's important in the future.
Yeah, and Phil says that he actually doesn't mind that concept, Stephen. He thinks it's quite refreshing to get back to the tried and tested formula, away from the mind-bending time spans and
Genesis
timelines and whatnot from Genesis and things like that. He felt like that was something that was necessary. He actually says here, it tied everyone's head in knots, and he's right. You need charts to find out where these movies were landing and what was going on.
Yeah, one of those Phase 4 Marvel things.
Oh, all over the place. So yeah, in a way I can agree. They've went back, they've done a Force Awakens. That's what he says. People are referring to it as the Terminator Force Awakens. It's admirable what they've tried to do. I think it would have worked better if they'd perhaps learnt the mistakes that Star Wars has made in the last 5 years. Learn from the mistakes, that is, and not absolutely disregard the legacy characters that people who have watched these movies for 30 years now have grown accustomed to loving and respecting and thinking they're an integral part of the story. If you do them more respect and have them have even a bit part role that doesn't see them getting killed in the opening sequence and then kickstarting the movie off, I think the movie would have done better.
I'm a totally different opinion on it. After Terminator 2, it should have just stopped. I'm a hypocrite. I'll tell you why. Because Terminator 3, Salvation, Genesis, and Dark Fate, I saw them all in the cinema, and I didn't want them made. So take what you will from that.
Well, listen, Stephen,
The
I'm not
point
disagreeing
is-
with you there. I
The
think
point
it should
is,
have been
John,
2.
there was no story to tell after Terminator 2. It was all
Yeah.
done and dusted. They tied everything up. You know, at the very end, the thumbs up, bit cheesy, but that was it. You know, and
It was it for
I
James
don't
Cameron as well.
even. You know, I know we've got a problem obviously with the Edward Furlong character and obviously the handling of the actor as well. He wasn't ready to come back to doing films, John, at this sort of level.
No.
To be fair, you know, in hindsight, I don't think he's been away too long. But also, even if he was, I don't know where you could take the film that's not already been done before. You know, if they'd carried on with the John Connor character, people would be saying it was a rehash of Rise of the Machines. So you couldn't really win either way. So that's my point. Why even bother making the film in the first place?
Yeah, and look, Stephen, I agree with what he says about the storyline. It's basically a reset, so depending on how this one does, which is not well,
No.
it would perhaps just be a rehash again and again of Danny running away from ever increasingly upgraded Terminator. So I'm glad to see that that's not going to happen. For the reasons you said, I think it should have ended after Terminator 2. I did enjoy Terminator 3, but it was a massive downgrade. I think James Cameron stepped away in a directing role after T2. That's when it should have ended. Realistically, but it didn't. They tried to expand it out again and
They brought
again.
John Mostow, I think the director's name was. Him that did Breakdown, John.
Yeah,
Who's
he's a great
he
director.
is a good director, but again, it's not down to the director. You know,
It's just a story.
Tim
It's
Miller's
done.
a fine director, but there's no story to be told.
Look, Stephen, as I did say, as an action movie, it's okay. It's not mind-bendingly brilliant, but as a Terminator movie, it is not necessary, and it is shit for me. Now, Stephen, before we also move on, touch on some of the other things that he speaks about. He speaks about Gabriel Luna, obviously as a Rev 9, it's completely emotionless. What did you make of him? Did you agree with what Phil says, that he has the personality of a toaster and that he doesn't expect, if there is subsequent movies in this universe, that he will carry on? What did you think of Gabriel Luna? Did you think he was an okay antagonist? I actually thought he was...
I think that's a little
was okay.
unfair. And I get what Philip's saying. He's actually hit the nail on the head in regards to his personality. But Robert Patrick's personality wasn't exactly, something wasn't charming or anything like that. The T800 as well. It was all about learning on his part. He came into the world, very just machine-like, no emotion, no character to him. He had a swagger, obviously, the bad to the bone scene from Terminator 2. But apart from that, it was all about developing as he interacted with humans. Robert Patrick's T1000 was just direct. He had probably more lines as well, to be fair, Robert Patrick.
Better actor.
The Rev 9, is it you call it?
Rev 9, yeah.
What else could he have done, that it's not already been done before?
Yeah,
it's a hard act to follow. Very much like the sort of liquid metal version we got in Genesis as well. No personality. It was all about visuals. But I don't put that down to the actor.
No, Stephen, I think it's deliberate as from a storytelling standpoint. They knew that they'd screwed up Skynet, and in this case I think it's Legion, that by sending back the T800, it was too malleable. It could become attached to humans and you could do things and it could learn behavioural aspects from humanity, whereas the T1000 and the Rev 9 are deliberately disconnected, almost sociopathic like Terminators. They have no care, they don't connect, they're one thing in mind, and that's to kill indiscriminately until they get to what the hell it is their target is. So I think that was a deliberate concept, but yeah, I mean, he was a bit hollow. He was okay though for what it is. I mean, it was a hollow movie for me. All in all though, I've said my bit, I didn't really enjoy it as a Terminator movie. I thought it was superfluous, it wasn't needed. Mackenzie Davis is a great actress, so I thought she actually was probably the heart of the movie, alongside Linda Hamilton coming back. She actually did well with what she had. She did the whole Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween thing.
John, another actor that's been away for too long, and she's come in and it's like she's never been away. So I thought she handled it well.
Final thing, Stephen, what did you make of Arnie in this? Obviously the Carol joke thing with his tapestry. What did you say it was?
Yeah, apart from the name,
is that right?
I thought it was okay, to be honest with you. I don't think it was the worst part of the film, to be honest with you.
Injected some humour.
Yeah, and he's good at that. We're not comparing this to the first Terminator film, which I always maintain is more horror than sci-fi. there was obviously humorous moments in Terminator 2 as well. Obviously that deleted scene, the grinning scene, glad they left that out. But I thought they handled the character as best as they could. I thought it was an interesting way to deal with obviously an aged Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. We kind of get hints of that in Genesis. But, you know, they had been in that timeline for so long that that's the reason they aged. But I think the development of the character as well was interesting enough. But as I said, that there was not much more you could do with any of the characters apart from probably Linda Hamilton's. Obviously, the grief-stricken mother, forgetting what John looks like.
That was a cool moment.
So there was moments in there, John, that were great. Obviously, the character plays Grace, I think, is her name.
Mackenzie Davis, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was great. As an action star, she was fantastic. She handled herself well. Some of the fighting scenes were put together very well. So, but apart from that, it was really the story, John, that let it down for me. But listen, it was a bad film, but a good review. And we'll move on to our final review of this week's blog rundown.
It was a nice transition, Stephen.
This is Eli. I worked on that. This is a movie review coming from Peter Plumers, and this is from 2019. John, this was directed by Kieran Foy and stars Charlie Shotwell, Kelly Riley, and Max Martini.
Yeah, look, Stephen, again, much like what we says with also Welcome to Marwen, I've not seen the movie, but I'm very intrigued by the review.
Yeah.
And we did go and watch the trailer, and it does seem like a very, almost aesthetically intriguing movie, but from a story standpoint, a very intriguing concept as well. This blending of horror with mystery, what's going on around this little guy. He has this autoimmune condition. He develops later on in his youthful years. He can't go out. He's allergic to, I don't want to say he's allergic, but the air and just the outside obviously has issues with his immune system. It would kill him if he goes out. He's then obviously restricted to this purified house, haunted house, and things start going crazy thereafter. He has that concept, that relationship with the young girl outside as well. Is it real? Is it not real?
Well,
it intrigued me, the review, I have to say.
I was going to say that, John. It intrigued me enough that Peter's not went to the extent of having any spoilers in there, which is a good thing. Obviously, with horror, you don't want to be spoiled because you need that surprise element. There was a lot of jump scares from what we saw from the trailer as well, John. I thought cinematically it looked like a really quality film. A very good made horror film for a Netflix production. I don't know if it actually was a Netflix.
I think it was,
it's Netflix release. So I mean, the thing that I took from the trailer and the review, John, was that the Doctor in this seems to have set this up, and it's going to be one of those ones that as well as the character getting taken along and finding out if this Doctor's a good one or a bad one. The audience are going to be taking on that journey as well. If it's been set up deliberately by this Doctor for whatever reasons, if it's spiritual or whatever, I don't know.
It's almost like New Mutants, but more drama and serious than New Mutants. It's not comic book. You've got that concept of this authoritative figure bringing hope and perhaps a cure, but then they may have nefarious, darker undertones.
I mean, it did have the sort of cliche bits in there, like the steam, producing the words and stuff like that on the windows or the mirrors or whatever it was, which you see time and time again in horror films. You've seen that, the little girl in the distance, he's running away from her. Every time you get that flash of light, she's getting closer till she gets just, within reaching distance, and then it cuts. So it's got that kind of element that we've all seen before in horror films, and if it's executed well, if it's shot well as well, which it does look like from what I've seen in the trailer, then it's something that does intrigue me enough, John.
Yeah, Stephen, and obviously Peter speaks about Charlie Shotwell, who's playing the title of Eli in the movie. He says that he was blown away by this young guy's performance. I've actually seen him before in Captain Fantastic with Viggo Mortensen, and all of that young cast, his children, that cast in general, alongside Viggo, were magnificent. I can't recall the other guy that was in that movie that played the older son, but he was really, really good as well. So I'm not surprised to see this young guy coming in and leading this movie with absolute ease. It doesn't surprise me at all. He's very accomplished despite his younger years. I think precocious is the word I wanted to use. I could have just said that and saved myself all of the hassle. But yeah, look, Stephen, I like the blend of horror and the idea of mystery in there as well. I'm having an absolute mare here. Can't speak.
Time's going on, John.
Clearly getting tired. Yeah. But yeah, Marrowbone was another one for me that did that. It blended mysteriousness, horror, and is it real? What's going on in here? Is it all happening in his head, or is it very much rooted in real life? And it seems like this is a similar concept. Peter was very pleased with the change in tone towards the end. He says it plays out like a relatively bland horror movie for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't want to
But
say
if you
bland.
hang around long
Not
enough,
bland, but it's like a paint-it-by-numbers horror movie. But if you hang around long enough, you will be blown away when the reveal happens, and that's similar to Marwen
there is a
as well.
payoff,
Yeah, there's a payoff, and you always need that. If you're sticking around, you want to see something happen. We've seen it done with Shyamalan in the past with horror movies.
Yeah.
There's something about that genre and twist that just seems to lend itself to it. But look, Stephen, I haven't seen it. I've not got much more to add other than to say that the producers from The Haunting of Hill House or Hill House, I can't recall, it doesn't matter, and Gerald's Game are in there. They worked with Mike Flanagan, another incredible director rooted in the horror genre. So that is another thing that it has going for it. But look, I've not got much more to add. I'm done. I think I'll fall asleep on this chair, and that is going to round up today's show on that note. What the hell did you make of Henry Cavill saying that he's not done with Superman? Does it excite you? Does it bore you? Are you whelmed, overwhelmed, underwhelmed? Who knows? Comment below and let us know what your thoughts are. What's your thoughts on the 3 movies we spoke about on the blog rundown as well? Have you seen them? If you've got anything to say about them, you can comment down below as well. And like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. And me and Stephen will be back again tomorrow with the Force Friday show.